What's Bo? Someone in the chat said a lot of good indies lately. Gestalt came out today. Fallen Leaf came out yesterday. Bo comes out tomorrow. What the hell's Bo? The Teal Lotus? What? If I type in Bo, do I get a result? Bo. Oh, I do. Oh my god, that looks so much like Nine Souls. That is crazy unfortunate. There's no way those two dev teams knew about each other. That's crazy. Hey, apologies, gentlemen and gentlewomen. I am late today because I was trapped under a 20-pound little guy who was like, asleep. He was like, you know what, Pat? No, I hate this. No, he doesn't call me Pat. That's so fucking weird. You know what, Dad? Your belly looks real comfy. What if I just went unconscious? Unconscious. Oh, I'm on my fucking A game today, brother. You want to hear something fucking stupid? The baby around 6 a.m., he'll be like, and like fall back asleep. Right? He did that today, and he woke the dog up. And then the dog was like, well, now I'm awake. I want to go outside, go pee. So I got up, and I took the dog out. And I brought the dog back in, and the dog immediately jumped on the couch and fell asleep. And the baby was still asleep. And Paige was still asleep. So, like, and Elma was still asleep. So everybody gets to be fucking asleep, but me. Because I'm on the ball. And I'm just like, and then the baby sleep on me. Baby was like, this looks real comfy. Aww. You wake up at 6 a.m. for work? I mean, I actually wake up at 6 a.m. every single day to take the dog out. And if the baby's up, then take care of baby so Paige can get some nap time in the morning. But it's I could have made it to 6:30. You know, it's possible. Yeah, I'm getting up at 6 a.m., brother. That's my life. Do you get to go back to sleep ever? It takes me like 45 minutes to an hour to fall asleep. So by the time I actually fall asleep, I would totally have to get back up. And that's the worst. That's the worst. So instead, I did Arcadion this morning at 6:15 a.m. Bro, the people playing FF14 at fucking 6:30 in the morning are awesome. Like, because it's all people who are like, oh, I gotta bang this shit out before I go to work, or I'm so unhinged on reset that I just need to be there. Right? That normal raid is awesome. Those are going to be tons of fun to repeat for 5 or 10 weeks. I didn't get any of the shit that I wanted. I got a helmet, a ring, and like a piece of a foot, whatever. But now that you can get all 4 pieces from all 4 on week 5, I'll just rerun it until I have it. Yeah, I got a piece of a foot. Which one's my favorite out of the four? In terms of the actual fight, I think the first one. I think uppercutting you into like a trajectory to like hit the glass and not break the glass is maybe my favorite like targeted attack in the entire game. In terms of like encounter, I think it's the fourth one. In terms of music, it's the second one. And then like the third one is like discount Titan Living Liquid, but you know, whatever. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I also I also mined out 1,700 materials for script use. Like 1,800 ores to kick in for script leveling. I only have 3 crafters to go. Let's go. But I do have like 34,000 scripts level worth of materia to grind out. So that's fun. But enough about all that shit. Did you know that all life will eventually become crab? I'm not even joking. I don't remember the word for it, but there is a weird biological phenomenon in which ocean-based creatures, it's called carcinization, tend to evolve towards the form of crab. Because apparently crab is just like a really good body type for the ocean. It's really fascinating because one of the old sci-fi tropes in something like Star Trek is one of the ideas is that the types of animals that are going to discover space flight are probably going to become bipedal, and they're probably going to have at least 2 arms and like good digits, because the evolutionary path there leads to tool use a lot of the time. And with tool use is an evolutionary prerequisite to get to space flight. And that was Star Trek's explanation for everybody being like human looking aliens with like a mask on, right? But then we look at carcinization and we're like, yeah, no, actually certain environments actually do totally like just kind of nudge everybody down the same body type. Right? It's crazy. I think it's really funny this game's made by Aggro Crab. I did not realize that. I did not realize that. That they're like, fuck it, crab game. I love it. Why do you think crabs evolved to be so tasty? Nothing evolves to be tasty. Good taste is a wild evolutionary disadvantage. It is terrible. It is, you don't want to be tasty. You want to fucking taste like shit or poison. No, instead you evolved to enjoy the taste of crab. Not if you're a fruiting plant. I mean, I'm talking about animals here, man. Talking about animals. Come on. If you ate me, I'd taste really bad. You'd be like, oh, this guy's poisoned. Oh, I got sick. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I should not eat the next Pat I see. So, Dad Asna says, then why do pigs thrive in every continent? Tusk then replies, hogs thrive, not domestic pig. I need to stop you right there, Tusk. There's a biological process you may not be aware of. If a domesticated pig gets out into the wild, it turns into a hog and will eventually go most of the way back to a boar. Like, they'll grow tusks. It's fucking crazy. It's super nuts. Try to be says, is it a stress response? Yes. Basically, the stresses of living in the fucking wild activates a bunch of survival shit in the fucking pig. It's the other weird one is that salmon, when they're horny, turn into a completely different fish. Which is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my whole life. So do men? No. It would be like if a man turned into a werewolf. Cade. Yeah, they their whole fucking biology and their shape changes. They change fucking color. Their fucking mouth gets all weird. It's crazy. Hold on, let me get a picture of this. I got a picture of the fucking salmon shit I'm talking about here. All right. Image salmon. Let's take a look at this shit. All right. So as you can see here, hold on. Whoop. Okay. The salmon starts as eggs, right? And then becomes like the tadpole pile of shit. And then it just becomes like a bigger and bigger salmon. But then when it's like, I need to get my salmon dick wet, it fucking changes color. It elongates its fucking mouth. A bunch of its shit starts to get weird. It literally turns into a completely different fucking animal. And it goes through a fucking bloodborne transformation. It's crazy. Yeah, and then it dies. Then it just immediately dies. It's like, I'm fucking done with this. I'm so sick of this being alive shit. Somebody asked, hey, Pat, did you save the raids for tomorrow in FF14? Fuck no, man. You know what we're going to be doing tomorrow? We're going to be going through menus and showing off the cross hotbar and tab targeting. Like, that stream is called The Basics for a reason. Like, I'm going to be like, here's how you turn on the cross hotbar. Here's why you would turn on the cross hotbar. Right? Why would you need more buttons? Well, because how should I put my buttons on my buttons? What the fuck is tank stance? How do I put on gear? How do I put on gear properly? Because there's two ways. They added some new and cool quality of life options in Endwalker and Dawn Trail. It'd be cool to cover these. I don't know what those are. I'm just going to go through everything in the fucking menu. I'll if you're like, hey, what about this? I'll be like, yeah, what about it? Oh, okay, let's take a look. Right? But like I don't remember the specifics. Did you see the 14 combo is still down and people are losing their minds? I don't know what that is. And neither do you. Nobody knows what that is. All right, I'm excited for Crab Game. Again, apologies for Baby Time, though I do have a Baby Time story for you. So I was hanging out with my next door neighbor. We were at like a neighborhood like it was a potluck, right? It was a potluck, right? So we're at the neighborhood potluck, right? And Paige is talking with the women folks, and I'm hanging out. I got the boy, and my next door neighbor, he's got his little girl, right? We're talking bullshit, and I'm like my boy's getting a little fussy. He's getting a little fussy. So guess what I do? Guess what I do? I hit him with this. Whoa! Upside down, laughing his ass off, losing his goddamn shit, right? And so every time he gets fussy, just invert him, just turn him upside down, right? And I'm talking to my neighbor, and he's like also doing the same thing, right? Like he's dipping his little girl, just going right? It's great. And he's like, we had some family friends over the other day, and I was hitting the dips, right? I'm like, yeah. Like, and they looked at me like I had grown a second head. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, you really do that with your baby? And he's like, yeah. It's like, well, we've never turned our children upside down. And I gave him like this look, and he gave me this look. And like in this process, we're in the process of just like flipping the kids. Like while just talking, we're like absentmindedly like, woo, like. Who doesn't flip their kid upside down? They love that shit. Like I like grab the baby, right? And I'm like, oh baby, and I put him over my head like that. Whee! He goes crazy. He loves it. Dude, if there was if Big Show came to my house and like grabbed me under my armpits and did that, I'd like laugh super hard. That'd be hilarious. I would love it. Aren't there dozens of studies that prove that shit's necessary for proper balance development? It's this really fine line, right? You don't want your kid to fall down the stairs and have their head fall off, right? That's bad. But you do actually want your like 1-year-old to occasionally fall down a little, because then you can tell them like, hey, you're okay, so that they chill the fuck out about it, right? Like I was talking to somebody about those, they make little backpacks for babies, and the backpack has like a big pillow, like a foam pillow, like right here at the back, so the baby falls straight backwards. There's a cushion for the baby's head and doesn't hurt the baby, right? And I spoke to some people who had a bunch of kids, and they were all up on the literature, and they're like, that's actually really bad for babies, because it teaches the child that falling straight back onto your head is fine. And they don't learn how to fall down and like brace themselves. So like you avoid like a couple tears when they're 1, and you're trading it for like a major injury when they're like 2.5. When their head's heavier. Oh. And you know what? Sometimes germs are okay. I said it. It's controversial. Controversial, I know. Sometimes you can't get there fast enough. And the dog is just... And you know what? Some of those are good germs. Probably good for the gut flora. Right. I was told by my mother when I would fall, I would look at my parents to see if they were panicking and decide if I needed to cry. Oh, yeah, babies do that. If a baby falls down most of the time, they don't actually hurt themselves. They do get scared, and then they look at mom and dad. And if they look at mom and dad go, oh, no! Ah! And pick up the baby and go, oh, my God! Then the baby's going to freak the fuck out. Right? Going to freak the fuck out. So, unless baby's hurt... You have to go like, you're okay, you're fine. You sit them up, give them a little pat on the back, give them one of their toys, you know, because otherwise they get all anxious and shit. You don't want an anxious baby. That's weird. I don't think that's going to happen. This kid wants up, over, around, through. He's going to be like climbing trees and shit and being like, check this out, and fall out and break arms and be like, cool, I get a cast. I'm raising that. I can fucking feel it. You know when you can just, you fucking know? Oh, I'm going to be so fucking stressed out. Oh, I'm going to be stressed out. Dad, check it. I can juggle while on the trampoline. No! Don't do it. Sounds like I'm already stressed out. Hey, let me tell you, having a baby, stressful. Being a parent, stress. It's got all that good stuff, but also stress. No one ever's like, let's have a baby. It'll be so relaxing. I'll be so relaxed. I broke my leg for the first time a year ago, and I'm 30. It was almost traumatic. I mean, it's literally traumatic. I feel like we're in the new age of therapy speak / trauma, in which people describe things as being legitimately traumatic, but the word trauma has been overused by pussies so much that they're actually like loath to use the term traumatic. Okay, so the breaking your leg is literally physically traumatic. And depending on your personal medical history and your history of injury, it can also be mentally traumatic. If you've never suffered a major injury and you say broke your bone for the first time when you're 30 and you encounter the loss of movement and all that, yeah, no, that's a big deal. It sucks. Is that trauma like life ruining? No, but you'll have to live with it until your leg gets better. Right? Also, like a huge proportion of like your daily life is traumatic. Like living like I was doing some digging on people talking about having sleep disorders. And it turns out that sleep disorders are like weirdly poorly diagnosed because a huge proportion of people fit the criteria for sleep disorders because most of the societies we live in don't let us get enough sleep. So probably the best example is I was watching a talk by a doctor who was like, do you set an alarm to wake up in the morning? If you need an alarm to wake yourself up, that means you are sleep deprived. Ideally, you would wake up when your body is done. That's probably the amount of sleep you need. Right? And so that might seem like completely insane. Right? That might seem like, well, that can't be everything. And then I say to all of you, most of you were at some point teenagers who went to high school and higher education, and you had teachers that were in their 60s who got up at the crack of dawn. Meanwhile, you could blow it out to noon every single day, and you got to go to 8 a.m. classes in which you were a fucking wreck because the school system is based around old people's schedules instead of young people's schedules. Lewis Black, in his book and also in his stand-up, describes he had an 8 a.m. math class when he went to college, and he was so fucking pissed off that he went up to his professor and said, "What, are you trying to keep it a secret? No one can learn math at 8 in the morning." But yeah, no, teenagers go to bed later and they wake up earlier. And that doesn't equalize to anything normal until you're like 25. And now that I'm over 35, I go to bed around 10 or 11 and I wake up around 6 or 7. Like, the whole world is based around my current schedule, regardless of the fact that other people have to live with it. My college psychology exam was at 6 a.m. when it was normally an 8 a.m. class. Imagine having to drive downtown before it was daylight out. Pain. They should curve grades based on the time you give the exam. I'm not even joking. I'm fucking completely serious. You're giving an exam at a period in which you are guaranteed to fuck up the circadian rhythm of like 80% of the people taking the test. They're not taking the test at their best. Ridiculous. Play hungry. Oh my god. Play hungry, yeah. Fuck. That's, oh my god, Toronto's so fucking stupid. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Well, it'll be fascinating to see if Wooly ever changes his sleep schedule. Because Wooly's on like the Nightmare Iron Man sleep schedule, where he's like just a complete night owl. Like, I'm pretty sure his streams are like within an hour of him waking up in the morning. And by morning, I mean afternoon. Like that man is a night owl. Like, even when I was a night owl, I'd be like, wow, man, you're crazy. But getting back to video games, I have noticed, and I remember that the late great Ryan Davis, a couple of years before his passing on the Giant Bombcast, talked about how he had started to wake up at 6 a.m. and play a couple hours of games before going into the office, and how fucking nice that was. Because everyone was fucking asleep and everything was closed and there was nothing to bother him. And now that I'm there and now that I can tolerate being up at 6, 7, 8 a.m., man, no, nothing. It is way better than playing games at like 2 to 4 a.m. Like, your day literally can't even start until everyone else is awake. And the world only really starts at 8 a.m. anyway. It's great. And the best part about it, this is the part that rules, actually. So when you're staying up super fucking bullshit late to play a video game, like let's say Elden Ring, it's 2 a.m., right? You got to be up at fucking, let's say you got to be up at 6. So you have 4 hours, right? Guess what's going to happen? You're going to finish, I'll take a break from Elden Ring for now. I got to get a couple hours of sleep. Turn in at 2:15 after like a shower, brush your teeth. Guess what? Can't fall asleep. Well, fuck. That's what happened to me all the time. All the time. Because I'd be all amped up on goofballs from video games, right? Meanwhile, if you're up at 6 in the morning and you're running your 14 roulettes, hey, what's your end goal on that? Oh, when you have to eat breakfast and take care of your human child and take the dog out. Like, these must happen. This isn't like, oh, I really should. Like, no, the baby's diaper got to get changed when you wake up. Right? And also, you don't have to worry about falling asleep because it's the beginning of the day.